I've been having a lot of fun playing in Road to National events in August 2021, and I want to tell you about the last one I played in, and just want to tell you an overview of what I see in the current meta in 2021 of this Monarch release and all the stuff that's happening now. Last weekend I went over to Tampa area in Florida. There's this really cool shop called Kitchen Table Games. Really cool staff there. It was really well run. I think there was around 50 people to the Road to Nationals event. I got 3-3, so I didn't get to go to top eight, man. But like always, man, I had a lot of fun playing Flesh and Blood in person and just being able to play the game. Like it was just a blast. But I want to talk about the meta at this current time. So I play Bravo. Bravo's awesome, but I feel that when you play Bravo, you gotta guard. As you gotta block a lot. You gotta like bide your time, and you block most of the time, and then you attack for like maybe 10% of the time, and you block for 90% of the time. But I'm okay with that because I'm choosing the class called Guardian. Obviously, I'm gonna be a guard. I'm not gonna be attacking. It's Guardian. You're gonna block, man. So I get that. And I want to go over to the different classes that I verse and tell you what I do. So against Chain Man, let's just get the big elephant out of the room. Chain is a monster. I have I have the easiest time knowing what to do against Chain because literally I block 110% of the time. I mean, what I've seen so far is that literally after turn 2 and after turn 3 even, you're just blocking the entire rest of the game until Chain decks himself out or Chain kills you. Either one. And I mean it's a weird matchup. It feels very odd after you play the game. After you play a game against Chain, you're like, did I even play Flesh and Blood? Was that even a game of Flesh and Blood? It was just me blocking the whole time. And I know that there's going to be different strategies in the future where people might try to race chain with different decks. People might try to do different things or here and there. The only thing I can think of with Bravo personally is healing. I just got to heal as much as possible, turn 1, turn 2, and get my health total above 40 and try to, give me more of a buffer to when Chain does a lot of attacks at the end. Because if you notice, Chain doesn't really do much in the beginning. He just takes a ton of damage to the face because he doesn't give a shit. He knows he's going to be attacking the whole rest of the game, and he knows that his health total is, not that big of a deal. He can take 2 or 3 big hits. It doesn't matter. Now, there is the point of saying, well, Bronson, maybe you hit him with a spinal crush, or maybe you hit him with a, something big attack to make him, demoralized. But dude, you only have literally like 2 turns. After that, you're just blocking the whole rest of the game. And a lot of times, turn 1, turn 2, you don't get the spinal crush, you don't get the crippling crush, you don't get those cards that you need to do some big attack and put something pressure on them. So even though it's a viable strategy and I do it when I can, I try not to depend on it, man, because it doesn't come up that often. So currently, that's why I'm teching in. I have 3 Sigil of Solace Reds. I had them in my deck before. I have 3 red Blessings of Deliverance, and I'm trying to tech in yellow Blessings of Deliverance just to gain just a little bit more, health along the way. And then let's talk about Prism. So chain matchup, Bravo is has a good chance at beating Chain by decking him out because we have so much armor and cards. But ultimately, I think his Chain is just a powerhouse. I think we're going to see him in the meta for a while because he's just an animal. And once he gets that good variance, once you get some good ramp with him, you can't. There's nothing you can do. You literally block as much as you can, and you just see if you win or lose. And at one side of the coin, that's kind of annoying playing against a chain. But on another hand, honestly, a lot of times after I play a chain player, I'm like, dude, good game. If they win, I'm like, dude, you did great job, nice job playing. Because it's like, I feel confident that really there's nothing else I could have done. I blocked the most efficient ways I did. That wasn't hard to decide. But other than that, it's really just a toss up, and it's really up to my opponent to see if he can beat me or if he's going to deck himself out. So that's kind of the chain matchup. Now, another one that I went up against a lot, and I faced a total of 6 players, 4 Prisms, 1 OTK Bolton, and one Chain. And let's talk about the Prism matchup, man. Oh, Prism is ridiculous. I mean, Prism sets up all these auras, and the way you play against Prism with Bravo is you just literally, it's like you're whack-a-mole with your Anathos. You're literally just whacking those moles, and those moles are the auras. You're whacking the aura, whacking the aura, whacking the aura, and you're just trying to, pop them down when you see them come up. The only problem is, other than auras, you have to watch out for those seismic or the shield tokens, right? If Prism gets a good lead on shield tokens against Bravo, it's not good. So what I've been trying to do a lot is I'll Arsenal a pummel earlier game, and I won't do it for straight up damage. Do not do that. Wait until Prism has at least 3 to 4 auras, and then you attack with a 4 attack with your hammer, and then they don't block, or they block with 1 card, and then you throw out that pummel. So now you're attacking 10 over their 3 block, and you get to pop some of those auras. I think that's the best utilization of pummel, is to just pop the auras. So it's really a twofold, process here. Every time you see the auras, you're killing them, no matter what aura. Especially Genesis, man. You see that Genesis, and it is like priority number 1. And then also, as you're destroying the auras, you want to arsenal your pummels or put your pummels to a later game and pitch those early on so you can attack the auras later on. Because once Prism runs out of steam, once Prism has depleted all of the aura cards, she doesn't really have much at the end. You'll see that at the very end of the game, Prism will just be left with a bunch of blue pitch, crappy, Phantasm cards, left in the deck. I mean, there's just not much steam at the later game. But I will say that, the whole deck, once you play out all those auras and all those, shield tokens and all that stuff, it's a lot of thing to chew through. And again, I think that's why healing is good. Because think about when you're attacking an aura, right? Bravo has 4 cards in his hand, right? Well, I only need 2 of them to attack an aura. What am I going to do with the other 2? That's why I think, having those extra healing in your deck, you can say, okay, I, use a, Sigil of Solace red with one of my cards, and then the other card might be a, Blessings of Deliverance yellow. You do that whole game, and then you attack the aura, so you gain some value of healing along the way. I think Prism really screws Bravo up when Bravo has a full hand and Prism puts down an aura, and it's like, well, I can't attack you with a crippling crush because I have to attack the aura. And I'll tell you, man, I've tried to race Prism. And I know you're gonna say, well, Bronson, you can just race Prism. It's totally possible. It is not possible. I mean, it might be in some rare instances, but I've tried so many times to race Prisms, and what happens is Prism gains momentum and strength from taking damage to the face. She loves taking it to the face and just taking all that damage, and that gives her an edge because then after the damage is taken, she pops up her shield token and then attacks you with them. And then when it's your turn, she'll just block with a couple cards and then attack you with those shield tokens that she already has on the field or those auras. And if Prism can get like 4 auras down on the field, that's 4 separate ping, 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 ping damage. That you just have to pitch 1 yellow card and you can do 4 damage in, 1 point swing. So in my mind, Prism, you can't race. Maybe at the end of the game, maybe if you get her down at a certain life total, you can do that. But from my point of view, the whole game, the strategy for me, I see those auras, I'm whacking those moles. I'm just beating the shit out of those auras every time I see them. And then also when I see pummel in my hand, I'll try to put that in my arsenal for when I see the shield tokens come up. And if I see the shield tokens get up to like 4 or 5, I'm gonna, try to pummel the Prism in the face. Now, other matchups. Bolton is interesting. I've played both versions, OTK and the other version, which is just the beatdown. I think with the beatdown, you really just have to play very defensive. You have to really just block out a lot and just bide your time wisely. I think a possible strategy in the future I have is just blocking out a lot of the game and looking for a CNC pummel opportunity. CNC pummel is ridiculous, and I think using that in that current moment, that can really throw Bolton off his game, and you can just destroy his arsenal, destroy a card in hand, and just do a ton of damage to his face. But other than that, you're just trying to block, because when Bolton puts cards into his soul, that is one card out of the deck. And when he does this the whole entire game, he's milling himself very, very slightly. He's like, it's like arsenic poisoning. He's just slowly killing himself over the course of the game. You just have to bite him out. He's like a slower version of Chain in a way. Like Chain does this. Chain just ramps up like this, like a huge ramp up of power level, and then he crashes down. Where Bolton is more like, this, and then he like stays level like this the whole game. He's like a wave like that, of power level and power spikes. So I think you just have to outlast him in that way. Now, OTK is completely different. If you're playing against the OTK Bolton, they're going to look for the Lumina turn. And they're going to have one Lumina in their hand and one in Arsenal, and then do some other thing to get the third. Now, against that, I would really prioritize your pummels, prioritize your crippling crushes. I think that one big thing that people misunderstand about crippling crush, and this goes against any game, crippling crush by itself sucks in the current meta. Crippling Crush dominated. I I've just had so much bad luck because literally, if you do a dominated Crippling Crush, it comes in for 11, right? Here's what they do every single frickin' time. They have a Fate Foreseen red in their arsenal. They'll block it with the Fate Foreseen. They'll block it with a 3-cost card in their hand, and they'll block it with one armor piece. And that just totally shuts your huge turn down. It's just not worth it. Now, what I found better than this is using it with pummel. Having a pummel in the arsenal is really, really threatening. You attack with a crippling crush and you have 2 float. Well, then you can use the pummel to boost your crippling crush. Even if they block with 3 cards in their hand, you're still pushing it over, making them dump their whole hand. Even if they dump their whole hand, that's a good thing. The thing that you don't want to do is do a dominate crippling crush, and they do this cheesy way of blocking where they block 8 and they take 3 damage and nothing happens. So that's what I've kind of learned. But against the OTK Bolton, just go ham. Just go as ham as you can, because they usually can't put as much damage through because they're trying to save that card slot in hand with Lumen Ascension. They're trying to save that card slot in the arsenal. You really want to do the CNC pummel moves as much as you can, and just pummel in general with any type of thing like Spinal Crush or whatever. Those are great plays to do. Now let me think about other. I mean, Katsu. I played a couple Katsus, a couple weeks ago. Played my buddy Alex LaPlume. He's a really good player. I think that you just have to play the long game against Katsu. I mean, you just have to block out as well, but you just have to use your resources effectively. I think that against the aggro Katsu, of course, you have to play defensive. And then against the one that's controlling, you have to play more more defensive, I think, as well. You have to match their kind of defensiveness as well. But because you have a lot of heal, that's what pushes you over the edge there. But you can really see a pattern here. I mean, if you're up against a deck that just constantly attacks you and is focused on tempo and attacking and maximizing value, you have to block a lot and try to mill them out. Because a lot of those decks sacrifice long-term game for the short term. They're either milling themselves with soul, milling themselves with shackles, milling themselves in certain ways to get an advantage. Same with Levia, but nobody really plays Levia. But I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for that. I mean, I think any hero is viable at this time, but that's the current meta from what I see it. Other than that, I mean, just the Bravo build that I have, I think is mainly gearing towards the meta now. I've put a lot more cards in my deck that I never thought I'd put, which is really cool. I mean, Snag, when I first saw that card, I thought it was trash. Honestly, when I saw it in Crucible War, I thought it was like the worst card. I just didn't understand it. But now I have 2 in my deck for the chain matchup, and I have the yellow Blessings of Deliverance, which are good. I'm thinking of putting more yellow cards in my deck for Bravo as well, because I did face a couple prisms over the weekend that just had the library Dude, the library has so much value, and I couldn't do anything about it. It just was on the field, and I just had no yellow pitch to get rid of it, and the Prism players just gained so much tempo and so much card advantage over the long course of the game that just it really screwed me up. So I'm really thinking of teching a little bit more yellow in my deck, including the yellow Blessings of Deliverance, maybe a couple yellow pummels. We'll see how spicy I get, but overall, man, that was the current meta at this time that I see, and my experience playing, Bravo in the road to national events. Let me end it too. If you're thinking about going to these things, but you're on the fence or something, do it, man. It's a lot of fun. I've had a lot of fun just meeting new people, getting out, playing the game, and win or lose, it's all good. Of course, I'm always gonna come in with my A game and trying to pull out that win, but win or lose, it's all fun playing Flesh and Blood in person and just hang out with people and having really good prize support, and it's just great time. So thanks for watching, man. I'll catch you next time. Peace.